Guys, welcome back to another video. This is the Football Connect, and this is Monday review of all the games which were played in the Premier League. We're going to be revealing everything before we actually go to the Champions League, which of course I'll do a video of, but it will come out tomorrow or maybe on Tuesday early in the morning before the Champions League actually kicks on. So we're going to be talking about all the games which were played, how things turned up, and maybe the things that needs to be worked on because it left us with so many questions rather than answers. So of course, just to remind you, if you are watching us for the first time, understand Burnley were beaten by Chelsea by 2-0, allowing them to move to a position of dominance in terms of being in the title race, this Chelsea team. Then, of course, Liverpool were humbled, destroyed by Nottingham Forest, losing by 3-0. I think we see the problem with Liverpool, and it was very much exposed from this game. Then, of course, Bournemouth played against West Ham in a game we finished 2-2. It was an end-to-end attack, but the problem was this: West Ham did not take most of their chances, which left them into how this game actually finished. Then, of course, Wolves played against Crystal Palace in a game which finished 0 to Wolves and 2 to Palace, because this team that they were playing with are just so sound in terms of how much they are good in controlling the pressure and how much they are just disciplined when it comes to defense. And they exposed these Wolf teams, and the Wolf continues with their unwin run. It's going to be a problem, really, to be honest. The Seagulls, of course, got their victory against Bournemouth, against Brentford, in a game which actually proved a bit difficult for them because there were so many questions that needed answers. But in the very end, they got the job done and they got the 3 points, which matters the most. Then, of course, Fulham beat Sunderland in a game which was a physical game, but Fulham pulled up and showed that they are and they deserve to be where they are. The interesting part is this: defensively is where Fulham actually won this game rather than what was happening offensively. So that's a good thing. Then, of course, a statement performance plus a moral boost was what we saw from Newcastle playing against Man City in a game which gave us everything that we wanted to do and left City with so many questions rather than answers, and allowing us now an opportunity to increase where they stand away from City. Because what happened is this: Aston Villa did play against Leeds United, and Villa won the game, which gave them the boost to be in the top four. Then Arsenal beat Tottenham by 4-0. Ebechi Eze with a hat-trick, a statement performance for the Gunners, and now they've pulled away from both Liverpool and Man City, which was very important. That was the preview, the review of all the games, the roundup review. Let's get into the video as we talk about everything that happened in the game. So, Burnley playing against Chelsea. This was an interesting one, but Chelsea were really comfortable when they secured an away win at Turf Moor. One thing that they did, they capitalized more on Burnley's defensive relapse, because Burnley were making so many mistakes, which Chelsea were able to take advantage of. And in doing so, they got themselves a victory, a well-deserved win, by the way, because even though it was some relapse, the Blues were just clinical when they were first at goal, when they had opportunities, and 2 well-taken goals and a header from, what's that guy's name? Is out of his name. Pedronato, is it? No, it's a, yeah, I think it's Pedronato. Yeah, it's Pedronato. A header. Then the last goal, which was scored by, of course, Enzo Fernandez. They just took the goals well, because even though Burnley were in control, even though Burnley showed that they understand what they were doing, the problem with Burnley, and it eventually costed them, was they did not take advantages of the opportunities which were creating, which now put them in a problem. Because as for Chelsea, they've now extended their strong run while they're trying to fight to find maybe to compete with Arsenal in in winning the league. But as of Burnley, remain winningless in their last 5 games. So that's a problem for Burnley. And I don't know what they're going to do, but they need to improve. Liverpool were left in the shock side of the window, because what happened in this game, people, was out of this world. Of course, this is going to be the analyze the game, which we're going to talk about when we do the analysis show. But one thing that you have to understand is this: it was a shock upset at Anfield. Nottingham Forest dismantled the champions, and they were actually ruthless and efficiency with the chances that they were taking and how much they were going forward. The thing that actually made this game interesting was how Nottingham Forest used their counter-attacking to expose Liverpool's vulnerability, especially defensively, as well as the midfield, to stop them from opening those gaps. It was really amazing what they did. And this marks as the Reds' worst home defeat in years. And this is just piling up pressure on what they think is supposed to be a title defense. If you want to hear my real thoughts and what I thought, there are two videos that you can check out on the Connect. I was really pissed over this game, so go check it out. I advise you. Then, of course, Bournemouth played against West Ham in a game which left so many people with questions than answers, because it was an entertaining draw, to be honest, because 2-2, somebody must have been in trouble, really, to be honest. And as it was an entertaining draw, these two teams kept on exchanging blows, attacking each other from one end to another, non-stop, the whole entire game. It was a high rated game in terms of how they were putting pressure and trying to get something. And Bournemouth's late equalizer just was to get that salvaging a point was really amazing. But the problem in this game was the wastefulness of West Ham. If they were not so wasteful in the up when they had the opportunities, because they did create so much opportunities, this could not have costed them the victory. They had a chance to actually win this game, but they were too wasteful, and because of that, it ended up leaving them with so many questions rather than answers. So it was an end-to-end action, but not the result that actually West Ham deserved, but that's what they got. That's why the Premier League is always exciting people. Then Wolves suffered again another defeat, but this was under the new manager, Rob Edwards, who was taking them for the first time. They got into this game, but the problem that they suffered with was playing with a team that is too organized for what they do. Defensively, there's no team in the Premier League that is well organized than Crystal Palace. Even offensively, they are still organized defensively, so it's difficult to break them down. And that's exactly what caused chaos in this Wolves. This is a team that was looking for confidence, people. This is a team that has not won yet a game in the league. How were they going to be able to disturb a team that is well drilled when it comes to discipline and how they play the game? So this just highlights the problems that Wolves keeps facing, and they continue going forward. I hope they'll be able to improve and maybe find a way to actually start performing, but that's where they find themselves in, and I can't wait to see where they go from here. But Brighton played against Brentford in a game which Brighton won, and it was actually interesting because it was really a tight game. It had everything in this. I think it's a derby. Yeah, I think it's a derby, this game. But what made this even exciting for the Seagulls is that despite Brentford spitting resistance and also an early lead which they got, Brentford quality prevailed and boosted their European push, because on top of that, they just did not equalize. They got the winning goal and put them somewhere away. So if I'm really a Brighton fan, I'm actually happy because of how the game went on. They fought to the end and they got the job done. A win which was well deserved. Then we comes to Fulham 1, Sunderland 0, a game which left so many people confused. Why? Because when you look at this game, really, to be honest, in hindsight, this Sunderland team has been dangerous. Before international break, they shocked Arsenal, left Arsenal with questions, and if they were able to keep that with a victory against Fulham, that could have given them even more confidence and belief on what they're working on and what they're trying to build. The game went on like this. It was a solidarity and a striking proven defensively game by this team called Fulham, because one thing that they did was to stop this Sunderland team from actually playing that game and stop them from actually being physical. They were able to match them physically and they scored the goal, but the backline of Fulham was the deciding factor and they got them the victory, which was a well-deserved victory. And Newcastle pulled one of the best and the statement performance in their history in some time now, really, to be honest. The first win for Eddie Howe against Pep Guardiola. How this game went on, like for people who might not have watched it, two goals were scored in 6 minutes. An early goal from Barnes and an equalizer which was scored by a City defender. I think it was the main defender. What's his name? I forgot his name. Then Harvey Barnes scored to make it two. and that was it. City tried to push pressure to attack, and they felt like there were some controversial decisions, which I get, but they never prevailed. What was interesting is this: City's position dominance could not unmask the defensive fragility or handle the Magpie more or cause any problem to the Magpies, but it actually handed them the morale boost that they were looking for, because now with that result, they're able to be boosted and to see if they can fight to be in that top four race. So that's a good win for Newcastle, and they're well needed for ADL because things have not been going according to plan. And City maybe going back to the drawing board is the best thing that they can do right now at the moment, because there's nothing else that they can do. Leeds United played against Aston Villa in a stage. It was one of the best thrilling game that I've watched, really, to be honest, because it was an amazing comeback from Aston Villa at Ellen Road as Morgan Rogers' brace overturned Leeds' opener. The visitors were resilient and turned the tide in terms of how the game went on, leaving Leeds frustrated, even though despite the scoring a goal, even early promises which we saw in the game, they scored a goal but just could not be able to get the job done at the end of the day. So that's what makes this game even more exciting when you look at it. Then, of course, the last one was the dominance of Arsenal in a game which I think will be remembered by so many people. It was the dominance of Arsenal in the North London derby at the Emirates, running riot and cagey against the Spurs, who were very leaky defensively. From start to finish, it never gave them a chance. They were never given an opportunity to breathe. And attacking, which was a very flair one, and they showed some amazing things, and they won it in high fashion, which was well deserved and well performed. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think of the performance of all the games, and which teams impressed you the most? Don't forget to like that video. This is Monday Reaction Show, and it has been done. I hope you guys have an amazing time. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Which game was your exciting one? Really, today there's no emotions when I'm talking here, because I've already been hurt so much and already enough. I'm not going to talk about too much. Let's just see where we go from here. Like the video, subscribe to the content. Let me know where you're watching us from, as we'll be talking about the United versus Everton game, which is coming up tomorrow. Then we build up to the Champions League. I hope you're excited. Like the vid, subscribe, go connect. We're out. Peace. Subscribe to the content.